The Life Coaching Toolbox Podcast is brought to you by Joeel and Natalie Rivera of Transformation Academy. In this episode, Natalie talks about the core irrational belief that leads to suffering. Number 3, comfort. This episode is one of 11 episodes in a series about CBT and REBT, which are powerful tools for coaching and together provide a human mind owner's manual.
Now let's look at the third and final must, which is comfort. The belief that life must be easy without discomfort or inconvenience. The need that this must addresses is the need for certainty, comfort, and justice. The fear that exists here is fear of adversity, uncertainty, or discomfort. And the demands ultimately sound like this. I expect all external conditions to be pleasant and favorable at all times, and when they're not, it is awful and unbearable. Symptoms of this must include unrealistic expectations about life being perfect. The belief that living a trouble-free life is a birthright. Lack of belief in your ability to cope with adversity. And complete rejection of all life problems as unacceptable. Emotional consequences include having a low tolerance for frustration, self-pity and a poor me attitude, depression or hopelessness, or discomfort anxiety. Behavioral consequences include procrastination, shirking responsibilities, drug and alcohol abuse, or overindulgence in feel-good behaviors such as overeating. The rational way of dealing with this belief would be to believe that it is perfectly natural for life conditions to not be ideal or perfect, and it's okay if situations do not exist the way that I would prefer, because I am capable of finding solutions to problems and making changes that bring me happiness and opportunity regardless of the situations that happen around me. So again, there are several false beliefs. The first one is that things must go the way I want them to go, and I should have control over everything. The consequence of this belief is anger and frustration when things don't go the way that you want, and it does not help the situation to be angry or frustrated. Also, expecting everything to be exactly as you want it to gives away your power to be happy until everything is perfect, which it won't be, ever. And so the truth that counteracts this belief is that in most situations, outside conditions are almost completely outside of your control. It is perfectly natural and inevitable for life situations to be unpredictable, uncertain, and it is rare for them to happen the way that you believe that they should at all times. What you do have control over is what happens internally, such as your thoughts and emotions about the situation. It is not the outside world and its conditions that will make you happy and satisfied with life. It is your internal dialogue and the perspective you choose to take of those situations. It isn't the bad situations that make you unhappy. It's the belief that they shouldn't be happening that makes you unhappy. When something that you don't like happens, you can either change it or you can't. If you can change it, then take action. And if you can't change it, identify what is or could be good about it, or how you could get around it, or what you can learn. The next false belief is that if something is or may be dangerous or unpleasant, I should continue to worry about it. The consequence of this is unnecessary worry, which causes anxiety and stress and takes away time and energy from productive solutions or other important aspects of life. And the truth about this is that worrying about something does not, under any circumstances, impact or improve the outcome. It is normal to feel concerned or anxious about a potential problem. However, catastrophizing about it and telling yourself how awful it will be and continuing to obsess over it is completely unnecessary. If potential danger or problems can be dealt with ahead of time, take responsibility to identify when and if action can be taken. If nothing can be done about the situation, there is no benefit to upset yourself by continuously thinking about it. Worrying does not prevent it from happening. If it's going to happen anyway, you benefit more from being in a more calm, healthy, emotional place between now and when it actually does happen. In many cases, worrying about something that may happen can actually increase the likelihood of it happening. For instance, if you are driving and you are worried about getting in a car accident, this will make you nervous and your driving abilities will be impaired, making you more likely to make a mistake and cause an accident. The next false belief related to this must is that my unhappiness, sorrow, and disturbance are caused by unpleasant or undesirable situations, and therefore I must avoid these situations. The consequence is that preoccupation with controlling situations and people, leading to frustration when faced with the fact that it is not possible, ends up being worse than the thing you're trying to avoid. Avoidance of anything that could go wrong, which basically could be anything, will lead to a very limited life. The truth is that your happiness and disturbance is caused by judgment of the undesirable situation, not by the situation itself. You have the ability to choose different ways of thinking about other people or situations, and those different ways of thinking about them will make you feel better. It is okay to feel bad about situations, and telling yourself that the situations should not be there and that you should not feel bad only adds another layer of feeling bad on top of it. Another false belief is that it is easier to avoid rather than face and deal with life's difficulties, challenges, and responsibilities. The consequence of this belief is that by avoiding difficulties, you avoid the potential positive benefit of facing them. Plus, in many cases, you are only putting off problems that you will need to face later when they will often be worse. And so the truth that counteracts this belief is that putting off responsibilities, such as procrastinating, only makes the task harder and more stressful. Almost all worthwhile pursuits, accomplishments, goals, and experiences require some level of challenge or unpleasant activity. Therefore, avoiding difficulty prevents you from ever experiencing the desired outcome. The more we do something, the less difficult it becomes. In order to get better at anything, we first have to experience it being challenging. If we do only what is easy, we live a very boring experience, limited only to what we are already comfortable with. It is perfectly natural and okay to struggle with challenges and responsibilities, and it's okay to feel uncomfortable while you overcome them and improve your abilities. The next false belief is, I am supposed to just be happy. I do not have control over my emotions. The consequence is that when you are not happy all the time, you will either blame yourself for being unworthy or blame the outside world for not meeting your expectations and making you happy. And here's the truth about happiness. While happiness can spontaneously arise when pleasant situations exist in your life, happiness does not depend on favorable external conditions. While it's perfectly normal and natural to have an automatic emotional response to situations in life, it is not the situation itself that causes the emotion. It is the result of the way that you think about it and judge the situation that happened. Happiness can be experienced even simply at the thought of something pleasant, just like anger can be experienced simply by imagining being mistreated. In both cases, the situation is not actually happening now. However, the emotion is just as real. Therefore, emotions are caused by your thoughts, not by the situations. So what this all means is that happiness is a choice, and a long-term, lasting happiness has been proven to be the result of making choices to A, choose a positive perspective of life situations, and B, make choices to live in ways that allow you to express your creativity and passion as well as contributing to others. And the last false belief is that all problems must have a perfect solution, and that solution must be found. The consequence of this belief is inability to accept the reality of a situation and take action to make improvements because the solution is not perfect. Obsession with making a situation perfect, which often makes it worse. And the truth is that there is almost never a solution to a problem that leads to an absolutely perfect outcome. Expecting a solution to be perfect will prevent you from identifying possible options or moving forward with any solution at all.
Visit transformationacademy.com/toolbox to download free life coaching worksheets that go with the activities discussed in this podcast, plus other resources for creating a thriving life coaching business.